Hello, Internet, and welcome to not Elegant Magics, but Red River Legends. We're super excited to be here tonight. Obviously, in place of your normal Thursday night programming, I'm going to be running this little mini series for the next couple of weeks. So buckle up, grab your spurs, saddle on up for a good time. If you haven't caught any of my my teasers for this, none of this makes any sense to you probably, but we're playing a cowboy adventure, not really adventure, mystery themed game of Urban Shadows here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit more about what any of that I just said means in a little bit. But first, I'm going to talk about all the other shows we got going on the channel. If you enjoy what you see here tonight, come join us for the next couple days because I'm also running games. Tomorrow, which is Friday, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we will be playing our next session of Neon Souls. We're playing the Fate. 9:30. We'll be playing Fate, and we're in a sci-fi space crime, former cyberpunk system. Most of my genres are such a fucking clusterfuck that I really can't describe them in any way. You just kind of have to join us. On Saturday, I will also be running a kind of a one-off, a one-shot in place of Mistborn because we have a player missing. Haven't decided yet what we're going to be playing, but we will hopefully know soon. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, and all of these faces will be here for that too. But yeah, the rest of our schedule throughout the week will be pretty much normal, I believe, until coming around to next Thursday. If you want to know our full schedule, the full lineup of shows that we do on this channel, you can check our full schedule below our faces if you're watching us live on Twitch. If you're watching us at YouTube some point in the future, come over to our Twitch page and you can see whatever we're doing right now, because it's probably something different, because we play pretty fast and loose on this channel with what we run and what we put in these time blocks. I am going to stop talking for a minute here and let my players introduce themselves, talk about what they do on and off this channel, and give the name of the character we play tonight. We'll give more of an introduction to these characters in a minute. But we'll start out with whoever is first on the Twitch overlay, which I don't know who
Sid.
that is. Sid!
Hey, I am Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid, almost exclusively talking about the fun stuff I do here. I am here on Thursdays. I'm usually running the shindig, but Val was nice enough to take that off of my hands while I'm in the middle of Hell Weeks for the musical. So I just get to play. Woohoo! Thank you. Yeah, Thursdays, Fridays, every other Saturday, Sundays, and Mondays. Woot! All good times. Tonight I'm playing Queenie Tate. She's an imp and a goddess.
Next up, I believe, is Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex, some guy on the internets, mostly here on GGK, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. Also Sunday nights over at LB Hack'emup's channel and the Masks game over there. But tonight I am playing Anthony Tony Zadriff, the Sworn.
And last up is Sid.
Sid already went.
I just went.
Savannah.
And also, we're
I don't
married.
know why. Why did I just go through? You know why? It's because on Zoom, Sid is bottom right hand corner. I was looking at the overlay on Twitch. I looked back here. I saw Sid in the corner, and I said that. And immediately after I said it, I was like, "That's not right." So Savannah, please go.
Hi, I'm Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets, mostly on Twitter, where you can find my streaming schedule pinned to the top of my page. I am here Thursdays through Mondays, either playing in games or running them. I run Monster of the Week on Sundays and D&D on Mondays. It's really fun. And then I am also on Sunday nights on twitch.tv/LBHack'emUp with Alex, playing Masks. But tonight, I am playing Maddox Byrne, the Spectre.
And I am Val. You can find me at the Kraden's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. I am here Thursdays through Mondays playing running games. I already talked about all the games I run on this channel mostly. Other than the ones I talked about, every other Saturday I run a game called Saturday Night's Star Power. I also play the Fate system in a sort of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jujutsu Kaisen inspired, very anime universe. That's about it. So, we can go ahead and get started. We are not going to just jump right into the game right away. My players have obviously already made their characters mostly. There's a couple of little housekeeping things we're going to do, and then we're going to jump into it. First and foremost, just going to talk about the game a little bit. We are playing the Urban Shadows 2nd Edition Quick Start rules. I have almost no experience with Urban Shadows other than listening to like a couple of live streams or like a couple of actual plays about it. It is how would you describe it? A supernatural or fantasy based sort of crime drama. Usually takes place in like an urban setting, thus the name. Everyone plays as monsters or monstrous individuals who are fighting for their place within a city. There are all sorts of factions involved. Everyone you'll hear is kind of related to or part of a certain like subset of the monstrous community within the setting as a whole. And within those, there are more like specified factions, and each one of them is like made up of different groups with different goals, and they're all kind of fighting for power within an environment. This game is going to be taking place in Dallas, Texas. As you could probably guess by the music and the setting and the hats and the background on Sid's Zoom call. So we're going to be playing in this setting. It's going to be the modern day, so 2021, or a version of it. So we'll still have things like cell phones and like public transport and TVs and football games and things like that. Though I don't think that the latter is going to come up too much in this game. Some of the key parts of this. So there are 4 factions in the city. I'll just run through them really quick. There's the Mortalis, who are like humans who have crossed the boundary between mortal and supernatural. There's the Night Circle, which are the people who have been like changed into creatures of the night. This is the circle that vampires, werewolves, and ghosts belong to. Power are entities who have obtained supernatural power through gifts, power or gifts through training, blessings or curses. They are like your wizards, oracles, or other immortals, humans that have been given this supernatural power. And last is wild, which are strange beings that hail from outside our world. Fairies and demons, other more like cryptids kind of creatures all belong to the wild circle. I only say these up front because we're probably going to use these terms a lot, so that way you know what the circles we're talking about are. This is a powered by the Apocalypse system, so all of it is going to be the players rolling. It's going to be 2d6. They're going to be adding stats to it, and we're going to be making moves and all the stuff you're probably used to in watching Powered by the Apocalypse based games. If you haven't seen a Powered by the Apocalypse stream before, or you're not familiar with the system, it's pretty easy. Every time they want to do something, there's going to be a move that relates to it. It's going to have a cool name. It's going to have some set parameters for what happens. They're going to fail if they roll a 6 or lower. You get a mixed success if you roll a 7 to 9, which means you kind of get what you want, but usually there's some cost involved. And then a 10 plus is a full success, where the players kind of fully get to take over and describe what happens, and they fully get whatever they were trying to do. That's the basic premise of it. Urban Shadows adds in a lot of kind of extra stuff on top of it, where you have like circle moves and circle stats and your status within those circles. And then you have an element called corruption in this game as well, which we will also get into when we talk about these characters a little bit. But basically, corruption is a second like advancement. So you have your normal advancement in the game where you'll gain XP when you'll gain progress when you interact with the circle, and then your character will improve. Corruption is this cool mechanic where when you do certain things or you act in a certain way that is determined by your corruption trigger in your playbook, you gain a point of corruption, which kind of shows that your character is getting a bit like darker. They're giving into their sort of natural instincts in whatever those might be for your playbook. And if you can gain cool things through advancing your corruption sort of advancements or track. But if you ever get to the point where you mark all of your corruption advances, or 5 corruption advancements, I don't remember how many it is, you lose control of your character. They retire and they fully submit to their sort of dark side, and then they're mine forever. So it's very cool. We probably won't get into in 3 sessions. Yeah, we probably won't get into a lot of it in 3 sessions, but hopefully we'll see all of those elements come into play. Fair. I think that's the sort of the basic elements of it. We'll talk about other things as they come up for the first time. Yeah, there's other moves and stuff. They're like hubs to the city. We're going to be focusing on this downtown hub. You get certain moves that are related to that, to like hub moves, which for my players, that's the second to last page in the PDF, where those are outlined. And there's other like faction moves, which are moves that are going to happen like when time passes. The factions are doing things to kind of progress. There's some moves that I take. There's moves the players take during downtime. We're probably not going to do that during this stream because all of the next 3 sessions are probably going to take place in the course of just a couple of days. That's basically it. If you're interested in the rules, the quick start rules are available for free on DriveThruRPG. You can also get them through the Urban Shadows 2nd edition quick starter page. I highly recommend checking them out. The first Urban Shadows game was very well received. This one looks like it's gearing up to be even improved upon from the first. The art style is beautiful. Highly recommend looking at it. So I'm going to stop talking for a bit because I don't want to talk any more crunch. I'd rather do that during play. So what I want to do first then is, I guess, kind of talk about your characters a little bit. So I want to give all of you a chance to sort of introduce your character, give a brief summary of who they are, what playbook you're playing, and kind of the cool elements to that playbook, including, I think every playbook kind of has some special move thing on the second page of their playbook, something that's unique to their character, and then your corruption move and stuff. And then we'll go through like the intro questions for your characters. I'll probably have you all go introducing your characters, and then we'll go back and do intro questions. So let's start. We'll do the same order we went in at the beginning. So Sid, why don't you introduce your character first? I'm going to put on a little less dynamic music while we're doing this.
Nice. Yeah, I'm playing Evangeline Tate, but of course everyone calls her Queenie. You can maybe imagine why, or can you? We'll see. Queenie, I'm playing the imp. Imps are technically demons, but a lot of the demons within this game are sort of beholden to some sort of demonic liege. Queenie, being an imp, she sort of finagled her way out of that and works for herself now, which kind of pissed off her ex-liege, but we'll get into that later. So the cool and fun part about the imp are 2 things. One, she's working for herself now. I hate chat. I hate chat right now. I hate it. I hate all. That was you. I blame you, Alex. That is all your fault. Shame on you. Shame. The cool parts are her establishment, which is how she works for herself now. So you have a lot of really fun options for that, of like sort of business stuff that you're doing now that you work for yourself. You can gain assets. You also have some troubles with your business, which is a lot of fun. But my favorite part is literally they've turn this into a mechanic. This is just what I do every time I play a game. I have schemes. So throughout gameplay, I can put a scheme together to further my business. So I can pick complications and boons and payouts. Honestly, it's rather similar to another from the Sprawl, the Fixer. It reminded me of that a lot, actually, that you had like little business dealings and things you could do. So yeah, she's going to be wheeling and dealing and scheming in a tiara.
I like it. So what are the services you're like, what is your establishment?
So my establishment is called Buckingham, naturally. And I chose... Let me pull it up here. Where you at, Buckingham?
So while you're looking for that, so the establishment gets 2 services, 2 assets, and 2 troubles.
Yes, and then throughout play, I can start to sort of gain some additional assets, which shall be fun. Oh, well, when we did the update, it moved my notes back down. That's why I couldn't find it. It's okay, I'll move it. So the services I chose were cleaning up gruesome and or illegal messes, and holding or transporting otherworldly creatures. The assets that I chose to start were a high-tech surveillance system and an impenetrable vault, and a moving location to which only I control access. My troubles are a hard-to-move acquisition that is attracting unwanted attention. And, as I said, a demonic ex-liege who is seeking my immediate return.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so high-tech surveillance. You said a magical dead zone was the other one?
A moving location.
Moving.
To which only I control access.
What is that, like, what is the moving location? Is this like
to
a
simplify? Yeah, to simplify, I'm just basically gonna say that she has a little magic remote control and can just fucking move it around the city wherever she wants it.
Okay.
Just to make things easy. She
She
got it all hooked up with a wizard or something.
The whole establishment, or just like the secure parts?
No, literally the entire building. It's magic. Whatevs.
Okay, so this is a building that can move.
That can move.
Magically.
Mm-hmm. It can, like, you know, like Matryoshka doll into other buildings. It can show up on the end of a block, show up at the top of a fucking skyscraper, like wherever she wants it.
I love it.
And she's the only one that can let people in.
So is this more like it's like a door, like it's like a door you go through and you end up in the establishment and you can change it to a, so it's not like the physical building is moving, but the location is some sort of liminal space that you can have appear. I like that. Okay, cool. Awesome.
It changes up a lot. It could have a bar. Sometimes it's just a lounge area, but there's always karaoke. Now that's a Queenie guarantee.
And what was the other one besides the demonic liege for your trouble?
A hard-to-move acquisition that is attracting unwanted attention.
Ooh, okay. Do you have any idea for that so far? Or do you want to leave that blank for now?
I think it could be fun to have that because she deals in like cleaning up messes and like basically helping otherworldly creatures get in and out of the city. It could either be like someone left something very interesting behind, like an object or an artifact, or it could literally be someone that works for her. Like she got them into the city and ended up having them stay with her. They work for her, and now whoever was trying to get them in or out is like, come on. Either way, whatever works.
Okay. Let's see if we can
Whatever's
bring that
more
in.
fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with let's move on to Alex then. Introduce your character.
All right, so Anthony Zadriff is the Sworn. Gonna read the little blurb here. The machinations of power rely on many to keep the wheels turning, but none so much as those sworn to serve the many factions of power, academies, abbeys, and councils. Yet no matter what oath underlies their service, those sworn must make their own decisions about control, loyalty, and justice. So my understanding of the sworn is kind of that they are the muscle for a particular subset of power. Or maybe not necessarily the muscle, but certainly someone who goes out and actually does the stuff. So the sworn has an oath where you choose a master, the things you're charged with, and then your vows. And if you ever break any of your vows, that's how the sworn advances corruption. And if you break all your vows, you have to change playbooks. But in exchange for doing all this, you get a legendary weapon that is 3 harm, holy, and anchored. So, I know 3 harm is going to be a decent amount, but so.
I'd say 3 harm is in this system. Like the description for it is like a bullet at point blank range, a sword cleaving tendon and bone, a beating that leaves you unrecognizable for a week. That is like the second to most harm that you can deal in one blow.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Just below a grenade.
A grenade, you say? Let's see. So I can run through the oath and what I'm charged
let's
with.
Talk about
vows.
Let's talk about who you chose for your master and what your oath is.
So I put these in my notes section on my sheet if you want to refer back to it, and we can wiggle with this, but this is kind of what I was drawn to originally. My masters are a covenant of earthbound deities.
Okay.
And so we can figure out, how powerful they are, if they're, an established pantheon, or if we just come up with our own entities. But the things they charge me with, and again, so on the sheet I chose from a list of other possibilities. The ones I chose were recovering lost artifacts and tomes, and negotiating with their allies and vassals.
Okay.
Then the vows are the things that I have to do. And some of these I think are going to be very interesting. I must always avoid collateral damage. I must always thwart the enemies of my masters. I must always seize that which my masters desire. I must never strike the first blow. And I must always protect members of power from harm.
Interesting. Okay. Members of power from harm.
So if we want to fuck someone up from the power circle, we have to be like, Tony, can you turn around? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be so. We haven't talked about them yet, but there are also the intimacy moves, and so that could be interesting because the sworn intimacy move is, basically, when I share a moment of intimacy with someone, I tell them if they matter more to me than my oath, and so gotta figure that out. And it's, if I say they do, I mark corruption and they hold one, and then you can spend that hold to summon me to you at any point in time.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about intimacy moves, but yeah, so that's kind of pulling on the old sex moves from Apocalypse World, and in this system, it's not just like sex. It is also just moments of emotional intimacy, vulnerability. Anytime you really connect with another character, that would be when your intimacy move would trigger. So it gives a little more broad range to it than just y'all banged. So it's good to keep those in mind. I'm gonna, for a lot of these things, your corruption moves and your intimacy moves and stuff, I'm probably gonna rely on y'all to track those when they come up and play, because it's gonna be hard for me to remember everything. But I will try to, if it feels like a moment of intimacy, call for that. If I think y'all are sharing it, and y'all will just have to remember what it is it does, or have it written down. And what is your legendary weapon?
So again, I could choose from a list here, and I kind of chose based on, because each depending on which one you chick or which one you pick, it automatically advances one of the basic moves.
Yes.
And so I chose a sword wielded by rightful kings that lets me advance, figure someone out, which means if I roll a 12 plus on that move, I get to ask any questions. I'm not limited to the list.
Ooh, I like that.
And yeah, so the Sworn is big on mind for their primary stat.
So is the imp.
Yeah, I did consider that a bit, but I didn't worry too much about.
But
trying
for
to make sure we have-
in very different ways, so it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So as far as like the pantheon of god or the earthbound gods that you're serving, let's hold that for a second because we're gonna do our intro questions a bit and kind of breeze through those, and maybe that'll give us some more clues as to who your earthbound deities might be. So yeah, and so let's go ahead and introduce Savannah's character.
Yay. My character's name is Maddox Byrne. Maddox is the Spectre. I'm a ghost, you guys. I'm a ghost. The Spectre is great. I've given myself, obviously, a lot of extra work to do because the Spectre has not one, but two special tracks that they have to keep track of on top of everything else because I'm a monster. So yeah, Maddox is a ghost and has been a ghost for a long time. And as a ghost has anchors. So I had to pick 4 of these. These are important places, people, or objects that keep you from moving on. The things that, the things that anchor Maddox to this world and keeps them from being able to pass on. The ones that I picked are, I think, very fun. Are a space where you used to live or work. So I picked Maddox's old office, which we can get into when we do the intro stuff. A family member or inheritor unaware of your existence. So this is one of Maddox's descendants that lives in Dallas. An item related to your death, grimly marking your violent end. So obviously I picked the weapon that killed them. And a friendly household pet, constant companion in your own life. Because Maddox has been around a long time and needs companionship, and so just keeps adopting dogs. So Maddox has a dog named Cassidy, who's a coonhound. And so there's a whole mechanic that goes along with them, like if one of your anchors is in danger, and you get extra stuff for that, or when you resolve one, or if one is destroyed or ruined, things happen there. But once all of your anchors are either resolved or destroyed, you pass on to the afterlife, to the other side, and you pick blessings for each anchor that was resolved, and hauntings for each anchor that was destroyed that you bestow upon the city you're leaving behind. It's all very spooky, and I like it a lot. But so those are things that are sort of tying the Spectre to this plane. And then I also have this thing called Trauma, which I'm sure everyone is surprised by. So if you played Masks, Trauma kind of works like, it's a little bit like the Doom track, but it's more session-based than it is like overarching story-based. So it's essentially as your sense of self has been shattered by your death, leaving you traumatized, and it's a track of 5. You start each session with 2 trauma, and there's extra moves you can take to clear it. But if you fill your trauma track, the MC can make you do a trauma move at any time. And it's like a whole big thing. So I'll be marking trauma along with corruption, along with keeping track of my anchors, along with everything else I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's.
But I think it's really fun.
It's a lot of fun. The Spectre's really interesting.
Oh, and I have a cool ghost
all of
move
them are very interesting.
called Manifest.
Right.
Which is my favorite part of the whole thing. So regular people just don't know you're there and can't interact with you at all unless you manifest. As supernatural creatures and perceptive mortals usually know you're there, but they can't do anything to you without like special powers. So you can choose 2 from the list of 3. You can be heard, you can be seen, or you can touch and be touched. So at any time you can do 2 of those things. Not the 3rd. It's really fun.
Yeah. So that'll lead to some interesting choices during the game. Which 2 you want to be in any given scene.
Yeah. Or I can mark trauma
awesome.
to be all 3.
So let's circle back around, because all of you, now that we have a better idea of who your character are, like now we know who your characters are, let's get a little bit better idea of them. So there's this collection of like intro questions that each character is kind of like gives you some idea to like start building your characters a little bit. And let's kind of go through a couple of those for each of you and flesh out your characters a little bit. We'll start with Queenie again. So the first one is, how did you escape your servitude?
I'm so glad you asked. I like the idea of Queenie. There's actually another playbook called The Tainted, where like you've basically you become a demon, like you're a mortal who sold your soul, and so you're a demon now, and you have to get other souls. I like to think that was kind of where Queenie started out, like in sales, and got very good at it, but then got very disillusioned and very bored and very, got a little bit of a conscience, and so over time, sort of. Walked a very thin line of pissing off her liege bit by bit to make them want to get rid of her, while also saving up her assets bit by bit to be able to afford to basically buy herself out. And then played the game long enough that pissed them off to the point that they were going to sell her service to someone else, but secretly bought her own service without her liege knowing. So essentially bought her own freedom. And by the time they figured it out, deal's done. She's her own lady.
I like it. So sort of contract loophole, you outplayed them. That's very cool.
And they didn't like it.
I think the way I'll do these, because I don't think we have time to do all 5 for each of you. I'll ask one that I want to know, and you can volunteer one that you want to answer as well. So any of them that were interesting to you that you want to go over.
Let's see. Okay. This one might bring in a fun just NPC that we might not get. So who do you turn to when you're in trouble? I made up a fun werewolf NPC named Greer, who's probably local to where she's at in Dallas. Strong silent type. Probably an enforcer for the pack. When shit goes down, she calls Greer.
Okay. All right, I gotta add NPCs to my list. All right. Awesome. So let's do. So Queenie, she, her. Anthony, do you go by Anthony or Tony for?
It depends on who he's rolling with, I think. So in my mind, he is sort of very heavily based on Kento Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
And so I think, the name, his legal name for these days is Anthony, but to try, because of that very, that demeanor he gives off, he tries to go by Tony, thinking it'll make him more personable.
Okay.
Whether or not it works, varies person to person.
So the question I want to ask for you, God, there are a couple here I want to do. Well, let's just go with the one. I think, why did you swear your oath? I do want to know that one.
Yeah. So I think that Tony was in a life or death situation and the Covenant deigned to save him and then claimed life debt. But the only reason they did that is because there was something about Tony that they divined he was compatible with their legendary weapon that they, gave to him to wield. It's like, okay, we need someone to do our bidding. We need someone who can use this tool. Here's this person that we have, I don't know, maybe they set up the life or death situation to begin with, but they saved Tony and it's like, okay, you need to serve us. Also, here's this sword.
This is kind of following along with the like a subpart to this question, but what was Tony before he swore? It doesn't have to be specific, but do you think like was he in some sort of like law enforcement? Was he like already like some sort of muscle for someone like?
No, I think he was probably just like an office worker somewhere of some kind, and because in my mind, and this is kind of answering one of the other questions, is he was just immortal before this. Maybe ran afoul of the supernatural, got pulled into this, and is now a servant of power.
Okay, I like it. Is there another question you want to ask?
Yeah, so I can elaborate on that. What marks you as different from the masters you serve? So in serving this covenant of deities, he has been granted, some powers, some abilities, some extended life, etc., but originally he was and still is mortal, even though he is working for and serving power.
Okay. I'm trying to decide what. I still don't have any immediate inspiration for what gods these might be, but we can also like leave it ambiguous. They're just they're deities that sort of run a faction of the city. I don't have a faction in mind, but interesting. If you want to flesh out at any point or like bring that into existence or create anything like solidify anything for that as we go, feel free to. So, all right. So, and Tony, is he him? And then Maddox, who is they them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I need to pull up the specters. Just hold on.
They're also on my sheet because I answered all of them.
You answered them all.
Yeah.
I want to go with what place in the city still makes you feel alive?
Okay, so I have something for this. I came prepared. There is I think this old pub downtown that's been around for like basically ever. I think it was even like at one point, I mean the building has probably been torn down and replaced and everything, but I think it was even like in the same spot like when Maddox was alive. And it's called the Double Barrel. And I think a lot of other like specters and such hang out there as well, but I think Maddox goes down there because they have that connection with the place, and it kind of takes them back to like actually being there when they were alive.
Okay, so this is a place that was in in the like late 1800s, like established with Dallas. Okay, cool.
It's probably like a historic landmark at this point.
Okay, which I'll get into it a bit, like the main areas of Dallas that I'm going to be focusing on for this campaign, or for this game. But one of them, West End, is like the old historic center of Dallas. So I would imagine this would probably be in West End, which is just off from the downtown area. Cool. So what question on the list do you want to volunteer?
I don't know, because I like all of them. Is the thing. I guess I'll wrap the first two in together because they kind of go together. Right? What memories do you still hold of your death? So Maddox died in 1883. And was the sheriff of Dallas. Most of the memories of their death have faded at this point because it's just been so long. So the only thing I think that Maddox remembers, so everything else has faded, is who shot them. It was a man named Elliot Webster, whose family still lives in Dallas. And that's how the gun that killed Maddox still exists within the city, because it's been passed down throughout their family. But Maddox doesn't remember why he shot them.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the sources of trauma.
That's fair. Awesome. A lot of good stuff to go with then. So let's move right along. There were two other parts too. So we still everybody gets to pick a resident that they have a connection with, a relationship with another PC that is important to them, and then we're gonna do debts, which are the another mechanic, another facet of this game where people you will owe or take debts from other characters or other NPCs throughout the game, which can give you some advantages to calling in favors for them and stuff. So everybody picked a resident, and I have the list here of who picked who. So the first one I have, so Maddox, you picked
Cyril,
who is a human of the Mortalis Circle, who's a famous paranormal investigator who gives out free advice from the comfort of his apartment's bus stop. Why do they owe you?
So I think Cyril owes Maddox a debt, because Maddox is the reason that Cyril knows that ghosts exist. I think they live near each other, and Cyril was trying to get into the paranormal investigating business, and I think Maddox liked the guy and helped him out because they're a ghost.
So you're the reason they got famous, essentially.
Yeah, I think that was Cyril's big break. And Maddox let him document some actual paranormal activity and was like, you're right, ghosts do exist, bud.
I like it. Let's see. Alex, you picked G. Riddle, who is a ghost of the Night Circle. A boisterous ghost who works downtown as a haunted bar tour guide. Why do they owe you?
I think maybe they did something not to necessarily run afoul of my masters, because if I go against their wishes, that also marks corruption in addition to breaking vows. But I think maybe they got caught up in the middle of one of my artifact acquisitions or something, and I managed to keep them from getting, too. They came out of that situation in a decent way, rather than gosh, I need to finish a thought. That would be helpful. I don't know that he had the possession of the artifact itself, but maybe was in harm's way, and I managed to save him while also still performing my duties.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm trying to think of what artifact would endanger or would save the life of a ghost, but given the system, there's probably plenty. The last one that we have is, I'm assuming you saved them while they were a ghost, not before they became a ghost. Okay, yep. Just double checking. The last one is Miss Lane, who Queenie picked, who's the owner of an exclusive 5-star hotel, which we decided to make the Adolphus, one of the premier hotels of downtown Dallas, who lives for gossip. Why do they owe you?
So, they actually hired Queenie to help get their daughter-in-law into town, who happens to be a very powerful oracle. Problem was, there were some, Ms. Lane fucked up and told the wrong people when this was going down. So Queenie ended up having to hold this poor creature in the Buckingham for a lot longer than intended, but kept their spirits up, and lots of karaoke, lots of whiskey. Good friends, actually, now with the Oracle, but kept them much longer than intended, until it was safe for them to head on into Dallas.
Okay. Cool. So those are people that owe you a debt from the start. So during the game, during the investigation that y'all will be going into, if there's anything that you need, you could call in that debt to potentially get something from one of those 3 people. The next part, second to last thing we're going to do is relationships. You're going to pick one player character, and you're going to decide you're going to pick one of these relationships with that character, events or things that you might have gotten caught up in. You guys can kind of talk amongst yourselves. I'm not going to pick on somebody immediately for who we're picking, because I think this might be something y'all might have to discuss a little bit. The other thing I'll mention, because I forgot to mention it until now, we have one other player who's not able to be here today, but will be here next time, and that's RJ. RJ is playing the Aware. His character's name is Riley Fitzgerald, who, as he puts it, is a starry-eyed new recruit to the brokerage. We'll get into what the brokerage is in a minute. It's an organization that all of you work for. Joined on as a negotiator, isn't much for combat, instead of opting to bring his plethora of contracts or his charm to the table. So sort of a starry-eyed new face to your operation here. We're gonna go ahead and do relationships just among the 3 of you. We'll do relationships with RJ's character when we come in next week. So all of you will pick one relationship that will be with one of the other characters, and we'll try to make it a different character for each of you, so all of you will have one with you and one with someone else. Anyone have one that's speaking to them?
I do.
Oh,
Okay.
Go for it.
I actually have one that I think would be really good for Queenie. It would be you and Queenie go shopping at the ferry market every Sunday.
I was gonna pick the same one. That's awesome.
What underground scheme did the 2 of you accidentally uncover there last week? I feel like Queenie makes Maddox go shopping.
Yes.
And they try
Obviously,
their
they don't
best.
need much, because specters don't eat either, right?
They can.
Like, they'd have to. They can? Okay.
I can technically become corporeal.
Cool. Okay.
I can also technically
yeah.
possess people.
Fun. And machines.
Yeah, and cars.
So
and
what's
shit.
what's the scheme that you uncovered?
What is the scheme?
It's the ferry market.
The ferry market.
One of the someone has like a traveling like food stall, and I think they've been fucking with mortals to try to get them to keep coming back. You know how you joke sometimes like, "Oh, this is so good. What do they put in this?" Well,
Like actually addictive.
they're literally putting some sort of herb or whatever to make it so addictive that people keep coming back.
I like that.
I like it. There is a section of downtown Dallas too, is the Dallas Farmers Market, which I had on my list, which we'll just put the ferry market in there too. Smack down in the middle. Okay. Does somebody else have one?
I mean, I think I've got another one to do with Queenie, though I'm trying to figure out how we make the triangle work.
Yours would be with Maddox,
Okay.
and then Queenie's would be with you.
Mhm. I mean, this could still work. It just would have been more obvious with Queenie, given her whole acquisitions business, but given one of my charges with my masters, Maddox recently became the owner of a legendary artifact you've been trying to get your hands on for years. They've refused to part with it, but you're determined to change their mind. How? It would be interesting if it was somehow one of your anchors, but I think that's too messy and messes with your, your whole setup thing. But we could do something else that Maddox has gotten their hands on.
Imagine Maddox might have a collection of old historic cowboy antiques and stuff. Could be a
Old bolo ties.
Maddox has all kinds of shit.
could be a fiddle that one Charlie Daniels used to own.
Canon. The whole devil went down to Georgia. Whole thing was real.
It actually happened.
It totally actually happened. It was Charlie, not Johnny. That was the only difference.
Mm-hmm.
But we all knew. Come on.
I mean, we could. I don't have anything more specific in mind.
The devil's literal fiddle.
The Devil's Fiddle.
Yeah.
You can go with that. I like that.
Okay,
Cool,
so I guess
cool.
need to figure out how I'm going to change their mind. What if Tony has agreed to, in spare time, try and look into why Elliot, what's his face, shot Maddox?
Trying to uncover secrets from Maddox's past.
That would probably work.
I like that. All right. And then Queenie, you need to pick one for Tony or Anthony.
Oh, I have the perfect one. While doing some delivery work for a few of the more popular eateries downtown, you caught Tony in a scandalous situation. What did they offer you to buy your silence, and why is it still not enough? What'd you do, Tony?
I mean, technically, I don't have to
What'd
answer.
you do, Tony? Hey!
Technically, I don't have to answer that for this question, so we can leave it more ambiguous.
We could leave
So
it
we can
ambiguous and just say there was
figure it
something.
out later. They offered to buy your silence, but it's still not enough.
I mean, I can tell you why it's still not enough. This shit's just too juicy.
Yeah, but I think perhaps is offered to consult on some manner of, one of your recent acquisitions, either, an artifact of some kind, because probably, I assume at this point our characters work together enough for you all to be aware at least that Anthony is always interested in artifacts and tomes and
I
that
deal
sort of
in
stuff.
people, darling, not artifacts.
Let's see then.
Could be some like protecting members of power that might need protection.
Yeah, I mean, that is easy enough for Anthony to do because he has to do that anyway, but I'm curious why Queenie would have people in power that would need protecting.
Well, based on like Queenie's business, maybe it's more you are providing business opportunities to her. If like you have people to protect, maybe you go to her first for help instead of going to other people.
Yeah. Could do that.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to do debts real quick before we jump in for the first scene here. So bring up Queenie's first. If I can find playbook. So starting debts, you have 3. So you'll do 1 for each of the people here.
Okay.
So I'll read them off. So you have the 3 options you have is someone is a consistent patron or customer of your establishment, regularly relying on you for your services or assistance. You offered someone work when no one else would give them the time of day. Ask them if it worked out in your favor. Or you partner with someone on your schemes, both of you profiting in equal measure.
Okay. Well, seeing as this kind of makes sense with the relationship, so someone is a consistent patron or customer of your establishment, we'll say maybe that's Tony.
Okay.
'Cause you owe me. So you owe me 2 debts, my friend.
So I'm a little unclear on the mechanics of debt. So does that mean is the 2
Means I
one
can
from
call
the
in a
relationship?
favor.
Okay, but is 1 from the relationship, or is 2 just the starting amount?
The 2 is the
debts?
starting.
Okay.
2's the
from my
starting amount. Yeah. Yeah, the relationships don't give you any debts. Those are just fleshing out your characters a little bit. So yeah. Queenie, you should mark that Anthony
He owes
owes
me
you
2.
2 debts. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so the
and then
section on
your
our
one-
sheet of debts is how much other people owe us, not what we
Oh,
owe
you.
them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll be the one calling on those debts to use them.
Gotcha.
And I like this. You partner with someone on your schemes, both of you profiting in equal measure. I feel like having a Spectre on the payroll might be a good idea. So yeah, Maddox for sure. So
Okay.
we each get 2 debts on each other.
Cool. All right. Let's do the sworn then. So your 3 are someone gives you info about a circle you don't understand. You secretly helped someone get justice for a wrong done upon them. Or your service forced you to punish or kill someone's ally or friend on behalf of your masters.
Okay.
Oh, it's such a look, but the tiara is giving me a headache. Okay, I have to take it off for a little bit. Wary is the head that wears the crown.
I mean, again, kind of tying into the relationships, I think you secretly help someone get justice for wrong done upon them. They owe you a debt. Could work for Maddox of like starting to investigate, or maybe it wasn't like the big thing of who killed you, but it's like, oh wait, Anthony's actually kind of good at this. Maybe he can help with this bigger question.
Yeah. Okay, so Maddox owes you 1 debt. And what for Queenie then?
Queenie. I mean, either one is going to be owing you a debt. It's just what flavor.
It's comfy in my pocket, Tony. Don't worry about it.
Now I'm trying to remember which circle did I take the extra bump to. Because the imp is wild, right?
Yep.
Okay. I already had one in that. But I think we can flavor the adding one to the starting one is asking Queenie about night, because I've got +1 in night, power, and wild, -1 to mortalis, because spent too much time around gods and other creatures. I don't know what people are like anymore.
Okay, that's fair. So Queenie gave you the lowdown on the night circle.
Yeah, well, and Queenie knows a little more about night than she'd like to, so.
All right. So last one is Maddox. So your 3 are someone or someone's progenitor was involved in your death. Someone is actively watching over one of your anchors. Or someone almost destroyed one of your anchors once, perhaps by accident.
Okay. I think someone's progenitor was involved in your death is interesting if it's Tony.
Okay.
So Tony
So
owes
Tony's
me a debt.
is Tony a relative, a distant relative of the Webster family then? Or is there somebody, you're thinking somebody else?
I don't know. It could be somebody else.
We can just go with someone else.
I'm just trying to involve everyone in my trauma.
Naturally. Like you
Alright,
do.
so which one? Tony owes you 1 debt.
Yes,
And
Tony owes me a
then-
debt. And I was looking at my anchors really quickly.
Moving liminal space. You want me to throw something in there?
Yeah,
I keep an eye on it.
2 of them are living things, and one of them is a building.
My building moves!
So
I mean, imagine it's hard to feed a dog as a ghost.
yeah, that's
Hard
what
to
I
take
was.
care of a dog.
That's what I was thinking. So I think someone is actively watching over one of your anchors. Ask them why they agreed to keep it safe. You owe them 2 debts. I think oftentimes, because Maddox doesn't like sleep or anything like that. They don't. I think they probably move around a lot. Because people tend to get. It's hard to find an apartment as a ghost, I think. So I think probably a lot of the time, Maddox will leave Cassidy, who is their dog, with Queenie.
And she agreed to it because the dog's just so damn cute. I mean, why wouldn't she agree to take care of the dog?
She's a blue tick coonhound with them big old ears.
Oh, the big ears.
Perfect.
So
All right.
you owe me 2 more?
So yes, I owe you
Holy
2. I owe you 2.
shit!
Queenie's got a lot of debt to call on for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which fits. Cool.
Makes sense.
Well, that's basically everything for character creation then. Which we're just basically right on time with where I wanted to be with this, so we can go. Well, we can jump in. I think what I want to go ahead and do though, so we don't start and then. Do I want to have a break? Deciding where I want the break to be. Let's go ahead and take our break now. And then we'll come back, and that way we can just roll with it once we get started. So,
Cool.
all good to go. Got all of our characters ready. Know how you're related to each other. So, we will go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to come back to jump right into things. So, everyone out there in the chat, stay tuned, and we will see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our break. We have finished our setup, introduced our characters, talked about debts and relationships and all that. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in unless anyone has any questions. No? Okay. Then we'll begin. Blood, dirt, and heat. The secret ingredients of the Old West. That's what preceded the arrival of the wagons, the cattle, the railroads, and the skyscrapers, and, well, that's what'll remain when it's all gone. Can't rightly take 2 steps on this soil without stepping on a patch of dirt some poor fool fought and died for, and I reckon not much has changed since those days. Hell, everyone's got some tall tale showing how hard they fought for this patch of dirt. Some might well be true, most ain't. And in the end, what we ended up with was a big chunk of concrete, glass, with the name most folks can't agree on where it came from. Dallas. See, the city itself don't interest folks like me much. It's the people, stories, the legends, the myths. That's what makes someplace special. In the daytime, you get to get about what you'd expect from any big city. Noise and heat. People crowding the streets like ants on a fresh carcass. But like the desert, when the sun falls and the stars rise, when strange and beautiful things crawl out from the caves and crags beneath the sand, it's at night when the city comes to life. When the good folk lock their doors and honor the age-old traditions of keeping out the dark, it's these hours when the city is most beautiful, and like all beautiful things, the most dangerous. Where we begin is in the office of the Red River Brokerage, a neutral faction that maintains order between the many circles and factions of the 4 circles and prevents intrusions on mortal society. A 7-story concrete structure located on Commerce Street in downtown Dallas, Texas. This is where the 3 of you now sit in the office of Alicia Drake, a manager, a contract manager of the Red River Brokerage, and effectively your boss. Her vibrant red hair cascading curls across her shoulders, highlighted against the onyx black of her business suit. She has a stack of papers in front of her. She's looking over, finally setting them aside, and for the first time since you've entered and sat down in her office, acknowledging your presence. I'd like to get kind of a glimpse on like how the 3 of you are sitting and kind of interacting in this like office environment. It's late in the day, probably around 6-7 o'clock. The sun is beginning to set over the city skyline, and some of that sunlight is peeking in through the blinds of Alicia's office. Who'd like to go first?
Queenie is seated in a chair off to the side of the desk. She still has her sunglasses on. She's intermittently doing her nails and taking phone calls, basically speaking in code the entire time. But yeah, she's basically turned this side of the desk into her own like working office while she's waiting for Alicia to fucking say something. Yeah. And I'm gonna say she brought Cassidy. So she has the coonhound like the leash on one of the arms of the chair. She's in, it's like 7. She changed already. Bodycon, like lace dress, high-heeled sandals, and the tiara, of course. She doesn't go anywhere without it.
Anthony is also sitting there. He's in his standard 3-piece navy suit. I think 3-piece is the word I'm looking for. I mean, he's got the blazer, he's got the vest, he's got the tie. He has taken off his cowboy hat in deference to being indoors with ladies present, but he still has on his sunglasses and has basically just been sitting there like, the one leg up over the other, just hands on the knee, and almost seems like a statue, like he hasn't moved except to reach over and scritch Cassidy every now and then when she like sniffs over his way.
Did I miss it? Cowboy boots? Does he wear cowboy boots?
I think he has more practical shoes than that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Maddox?
Well, most of the time Maddox doesn't sit because ghosts. So I think Maddox has for this meeting, because it would be polite, manifested so they can be seen and heard. So they can't be physically interacted with. They can be seen and heard. And when they're in this state, their form is kind of, the word that I picked out of here is shifting. So I think they're like pretty translucent. Sort of like, almost like a faded photograph, like all the colors of like what they're wearing and everything are like real muted. Not like totally gray, but real muted. And they look the same as they always look, like blonde hair pushed back out of the way, button up shirt, bolo tie, tucked in, jeans, big belt, cowboy boots, sheriff badge.
Of course. Alicia looks up at you, and immediately what was evident from her is that she's definitely not human. She has yellow eyes with almost lizard-like vertical pupils that are very easily highlighted from underneath, and you can tell, despite the veneers that she has to sort of hide them, a few of her side teeth are kind of very clearly sharper than the rest, and those are emphasized when she gives a very almost condescending smile across the desk towards all of you and says, "All right. Well, I've looked over everything, and your track record is fairly solid. I think the three of you will fit nicely for this job. I've got one more that'll be assisting you, but fuck it, I don't know where he is right now. So I'll send him along once he shows up. But I guess you probably want the details, don't you?"
That'd be nice, yeah.
Slides a file across the desk, flips it open with one very long, kind of pointed fingernail painted bright red, and says, "I need you to look into a nightclub just established downtown, probably 4 weeks ago. We have some reason to think there might be something on the up and up. They might be in violation of some of our purviews here at the brokerage.
In
I need you
violation,
to find out what's
how?
going on." Well,
Vamp feedings? What are we talking here?
nothing like that. See, we can't really directly tie it to them. We don't have enough evidence there, else I'd be sending in a squad of enforcers to get the job done. This needs to be a bit more subtle than that. You see, the owner, Dolly, well, she's human. Nothing really that stands out on her history, as far as we can tell. I don't know why my music is changing, but that's pretty par for the course here. What concerns us is the reasons for why this club was established. See, there was a agreement that we oversaw for the construction of this club downtown, or I should say uptown. we had a contract deal between the Vaquero and the LP. They agreed to, on paper, to have this nightclub established, some sort of mutual agreement between them. I have the contract is on someone's desk right now, and I have to go find it, but essentially the basics of it are the LP constructed this nightclub uptown, and in exchange, the Vaquero would support it. They didn't make any overt moves to stop its construction or its business. And, they put Miss Dolly here in charge. All in all, it was a square deal. Nothing out of the ordinary or suspicious on any parts. Everyone upheld their terms of the arrangement, and for the first couple of weeks, there's really nothing to speak of. But, well, then some people started acting up. A couple of mortals. Now, these are straight up and down, vanilla as they get. They patronized the nightclub, as far as we can tell, sometime within the last couple weeks. And then stuff started happening to them. We got 3 reports so far. I don't know if there's more. We haven't been able to turn up anyone else, but they've been starting to show some strange behaviors.
Strange how? We baying at the moon, we drinking blood, or are we shooting lightning out of our asses? Might help us narrow it down.
Yeah, see, that would be easy. They start howling or biting people. We got ways of tracking that sort of stuff down, but, well, one transformed into some kind of shadow creature. Can't really identify it. Haven't been able to put a finger on it yet. They're under watch, but they're behaving themselves all right. They came out of the woodwork a few days back asking for help, and some people point them in our direction, so we got them sort of in a protection program. Another, they went berserk, started ransacking a store. Well, they didn't make it. Last one is currently hospitalized. Apparently they started suffering some sort of visions, hallucinations. I'm not really sure. And, they're currently in observation. Now, the only thing with these 3 that ties them together, as far as we can tell, is the siren.
That's the nightclub?
Yeah. So, best we figure, something's going on there. But we haven't interviewed the victims yet to fully understand what they saw or what happened.
The one that went berserk, they ghosty now? Or is that we're just shit out of luck there?
No, they're currently in the Dallas County morgue. So if you want to look into that, let's take a visit there. Not much more to look at, and no contact from the other side as far as we can tell. So, like I said, we're still early days of the investigation. That's why we called the 3 of you in.
So no one's been in contact with the other 2 that are still alive?
Not other than to observe and to keep them safe. That's y'all's job.
Anthony has just been quietly writing things down in a little pocket notebook this whole time.
Well, I can think of several places to start. You got a timeline on this, or just want to figure it out?
Well, we got to move on this before there's more victims. We've been having one show up every other day for the last week now. So I gather it's not going to be too much longer before we see another.
And
If
we
we
can't
could
shut
get
the
this
place
done.
down.
Now, with not making a lot of people pretty angry, we don't have enough evidence right now to tie anyone at the club to anything. Like we said, this deal was fairly solid between the Vaquero and the LP, and if we do anything out of the nightclub, we risk undermining those already tenuous relationships.
Pulls out her phone, Googles when this place opens.
Yeah, I mean, it probably opens around 8 o'clock. Most of the crowd probably doesn't get there until 9 or 10.
Cool. All right. We have your number. We'll give you a call when we know something.
All right. Information you need is in that folder. If there's anything else, any other questions you have, just give me a call.
Slaps her hand on the desk, picks it up, puts it in her purse. We know the drill, darling. Come on, Cassidy. She's got like the bejeweled leash. Walking around with her purse.
Maddox has pulled out, because I have my gear is just spectral versions of whatever was on me when I died, which is hysterical. So I think Maddox has pulled out a ghost cigarette and lit it. It doesn't make smoke or anything, but it looks like it does.
Do you just have like a perpetually renewing pack of cigarettes?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking dope.
Imagine dying with cigarettes, but not a lighter or a matchbook.
I gotta decide if there's a ghost market where you can buy ghost gear.
There's gotta be, right? Pull out
Has
a
to be.
ghost lighter, light a ghost cigarette. Well.
So the three of you step out of Miss Drake's office, and there's like the brokerage, like the main floor. There's like a bunch of cubicles and stuff. People sitting at, taking phone calls, working on computers, negotiating contracts, things like that. It's fairly quiet here. It's a conference room. Some other offices for some of the other brokers and managers of the office. But it's really quiet here, and you can stay here. Your employees here, so you can stay here for a bit if you want to do any planning.
Queenie just does some waving to some folks, checks in on people's moms, you know, just there's the schmoozing thing. And yeah, then walks back to whatever shared office space we've got here.
Alright. Well, let's make a plan and get on out of here. That woman stresses me out.
She was completely done 10 minutes ago. She just decided to sit there and draw that shit out a little bit longer. I swear to God.
No, I tell you what, she's stuck up higher than a light pole.
You are not wrong.
But I never say that
Anthony
to
has
her
just
face.
been writing the details from the notebook out on the whiteboard as they're talking.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, you got a dead one, got a live one in the hospital, and what, we got a third? Turned into some...
That's some sort of shadow creature?
We got whereabouts on that one?
Yeah.
Probably in
Look in the
file.
folder. I got they're under protection, so maybe we could
Yeah,
speak to
there's
them.
an address.
Well, I say we, bother and question the one that is not in immediate danger of death.
Although, the one in the hospital, visions and hallucinations. I don't know, maybe you have a burgeoning oracle on her hands. Might be good to check it out.
Yeah.
You get the sense that the one in the hospital is also under like brokerage watch, or are they just under like completely normal mortal observation?
You skim through the this would be in the folder. So they are in a mortal hospital currently in like their psych ward. They are under observation by the brokerage, but no immediate intervention currently, as they have not turned violent or exhibited any powers that would need the brokerage to interfere at this point.
So, shadow creature, swing by the psych ward and pop into the club. We have a busy evening on our hands.
We may want to visit the hospital first, given that their visiting hours may be ending sooner than the
Forgot about that one. Good point.
all-hour access we presumably have with Shadow One.
All right. Psych ward, shadowed one, nightclub. It's a Thursday.
Well, all right. Let's hop to it.
Any other information, anything you want to consult in the file before you get going, or?
LP and Vicaro that you mentioned, are those two factions?
Yes.
Okay.
The Vaquero are a knight faction.
Knight?
You all would know this. It's easy enough information. They are kind of have a focus on maintaining the old ways around the Dallas area, and kind of the individuality, romanticism of the Old West. That's mostly like ghosts, vampires, and other immortals that have lived in the city for a long time. I'd say Maddox, you probably have rubbed elbows with a fair number of members of the faction. The LP are also the Les Pouvoirs. They are a power faction, referred to as the LP because you don't want to hear anyone with a Texas regional
Les
dialect
Pouvoirs.
try to speak French. They are focused in the Reunion district, which is another just south of the Main Street area of downtown Dallas. They focus a lot more on like politics, expansion, development. They handle a lot of like contracts for developing like supernatural developments, businesses, hangouts, nightclubs, that sort of thing. So.
And they all agreed to have the place owned and operated by Immortal.
Yeah. So the details of the contract as Ms. Drake gave you were that the LP wanted to establish this nightclub. The Vaquero only agreed to it because on the condition that there was a Mortalis or that was in charge of it, a neutral party that was in charge of the nightclub.
Is there any other info on Dolly, the owner?
Yeah, I'll give you that too. Dolly is a human. I'd say most unless she doesn't have any like powers or ties. She's aware of the supernatural, but doesn't really have any abilities or anything as far as that. She is a business owner. There's like some details, some prior clubs that she owned in the past, some that she still owns and operates or manages. So fairly competent business owner in the city. Most of her dealings and establishments are bars and kind of smaller clubs located in kind of the West End and Main Street area.
Has she had any elbow rubbing with monstrous folks before? Like, are all of her other places like somewhat operated or financed by any factions, or?
That's not immediately in the. I would say you look over the names. Actually, we'll say this: she owns the Double Barrel. Is one of them listed on there? The others that are listed there, you aren't sure.
Okay. So she's been familiar. Okay. I'm good to start bothering people.
Okay. Any questions from Maddox or Tony? Okay. And you have the file folder. You can consult if there's anything else that you need to know. There's not a ton of information. Like I said, they haven't done any investigating. It just gives you kind of a basic. It'll be a good thing for you to refer to if there's any details for the immediate kind of the investigation setup that you need to consult.
I almost forgot. I have a beginning of mystery move that I need to
do. Oh boy. What's that?
I have a move called Business as Usual, which is when time passes or at the start of a game, I roll with mind. On a hit, my usual operations provide an opportunity to advance or generate a new scheme. As I have no schemes, because this is the first game, I would generate one. On a 10 plus, I also get some sort of extra benefit.
Okay. So go ahead and roll mind.
All right. Whoa! Yeah, that's definitely a that's a 13.
Jeez. Okay. So on a hit, usual business operations provide an opportunity to advance one of your schemes or generate a new scheme.
On a 10 plus, I also get to pick a little something extra.
Okay.
All right, so I get to generate a scheme. And then I get something extra. My extra, I'm gonna pick. Ooh, okay. My options are a loyal customer reveals the secrets of a powerful NPC. An NPC who owes me a debt appears to make good on their obligation. Or a status 3 NPC in my circle offers me a debt for my services. Ooh. All of those sound really fun. I'm gonna say a loyal customer reveals the secrets of a powerful NPC.
Okay. We
can play with it later. I just wanted to make sure that we did it.
Yeah, why don't you start thinking about what that scheme is, and maybe we can wrap that into what happens. Because otherwise, somebody gives you a phone call right now and says, "Hey, I got." It might be helpful if we get in the mystery a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you going first? You wanted to go to visit the shadow afflicted?
No, the psych ward.
Yeah.
Oh,
the psych ward. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is a normie hospital.
Yes.
Okay. On the way there, I'm going to manifest differently.
Okay.
There's no way this could possibly go wrong. I can touch and be touched and can be heard. Not seen.
Okay. Okay, but you're invisible essentially to
invisible.
Normals. Okay. You all step out as the sun is currently setting over the horizon, casting long shadows. Effectively, you see some street lamps coming on Commerce Street as traffic is sort of dwindling down after rush hour in the evening, and the heat always present in the downtown Dallas metro is beginning to fade. The three of you head across the street to the DART line, or the Dallas Area Rapid Transports, the above ground train line that runs through across the Dallas area. Hop on and head to the hospital. Should have come up with a name for the hospital, but I'm just going to say the hospital for now. We'll just cut to you arriving outside the building. You see people filtering in and out, an ambulance parked outside the emergency entrance, or emergency room entrance. There's the main hospital building entrance off to the left, where you see some doctors outside smoking a cigarette, just completely unprofessional. How would you like to approach this?
Y'all want me to pop in and have a look around?
Wouldn't be a bad idea. At least know where we're going. And then we can walk in like we own the place.
Yeah. Alright. I'll float on inside.
All right. You, invisible, but able to manifest, be felt, and heard, move in with a small group of people as they filter in through the hospital's main entrance. There's a small waiting area here, some tables, a reception desk, and a hospital map off to the right. You can see. We'll stick with this music. I was trying to say this is too dramatic for just hanging out in a hospital, but we'll stay here. You can see. So you have the map, which I assume you look at. There's a couple of floors that are noted, but the hospital psych ward is located on the 3rd floor. Do you want to head directly up there?
Yeah, just kind of get a lay of the land.
Okay. I think debating whether I don't think you need to roll for sneaking through here. Most of the people here are unaware. No, you head up the stairwell, kind of gliding through door. You can pass through doors and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that specified? Okay. Till you get up to the 3rd floor psych ward, there's some nurses moving up, pushing little terminal carts with computer screens and stuff on them, and a nurses station on this floor for the ward as a whole. Nothing immediately to indicate which room you're going towards, though.
I'm just gonna look around. Probably just listen in, as I assume the nurses are talking about what they're doing and where they're going. See if I can pick anything up. What's this person's name?
I assume you would have looked at the file.
Yeah.
Fisher.
Okay.
Name is Fisher.
See if the doors have names, or if they have those things that they had at my old doctor's office, or they have the file things outside where they put the charts for when the doctor goes in.
Okay.
Take a look, see.
Sure. You float through the hospital for a little bit, moving down the corridors and kind of getting a lay of the land. You pass a bunch of names, none of them, and people talking, coming in and out of the rooms, having conversations. Some of the nurses talking with doctors, discussing charts, idle conversation, and things like that. But you stop as you reach kind of an intersection, and you begin to hear a conversation from one of the nurses speaking with a doctor, saying, "So we got through all the tests, and everything came back clean. No signs of any chemicals in their system. They're adamant that these symptoms are new. We had to we had to restrain them given the convulsions that they were suffering, but I think they, as far as we can tell, everything seems to be fine." The doctor nods and says, "Well, try running a full panel and perhaps bring somebody in from neurology to do a workup. We'll see if we can get a consult from the 2nd floor." The nurse nods, says, "Right away, doctor," and heads down the hall, and as she moves, you catch the doorway behind her, and the name on the written in like dry erase on a whiteboard. It says Fisher.
They have like a chart or something.
The doctor is currently holding the chart and kind of flipping through it.
It's gonna peek.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll to keep your cool.
Okay. That's spirit.
That is spirit.
Yeah.
Assuming the situation you want to avoid is being detected.
Yes. That's a 10.
10. Okay. All is well. You kind of lean invisibly over the shoulder of this doctor, and you look over the chart. This does seem to be the chart for Mr. Fisher. And yeah, it goes over. You catch like a few bits of notes, like the admission date or admitted date seems to be about 4 days ago. You see something about admitted to emergency room, suspected. I was gonna say, you see notes for a like a talk screen. You see notes for some like an EKG they ran, some other scans, blood work, all coming back negative. You see a line about like sleep deprivation and convulsions. And then there's a little bit in like the margins, some doctor's notes of that they stop on for a second while they're reading something else on the page, and says patient exhibits or claims visions of we'll say visions of death and there are notes below like potential psychotic break episode, something along those lines.
Cool.
And they close the folder at this point, tuck it into the kind of file box on the door. There's a moment where they kind of like shiver for a second and look around, and then begin to push their cart down to the next door. You look up, and kind of like as you're looking at the door, you see there's a window on this door looking into the room, and you see a single bed in that room with a young man, kind of messy brown hair, currently sitting in bed, and he's like sitting up in the bed that you see. He has like restraints on his wrists. He's kind of like leaning up slightly, looking out the window in your direction. And he kind of locks eyes with you for a second and seems very confused. Tries to wave like bring up his hand, which is stuck to the side, and just gives a nod.
I'm gonna go in.
Okay. You phase through the door.
Yeah.
And as that happens, he sort of jumps back and like looks like he's panicking slightly.
Oh man. I forget people aren't used to that.
What
Sorry.
are you? Are you a ghost? Help!
Hey, Fisher.
There's a ghost in here!
Fisher, shut it.
How do you know my name?
Well, it's on the door. So.
Are you Are you haunting me?
No, no, I don't really do that kind of thing. I think it's a little mean-spirited, to be honest. Get it?
Was that supposed to be a joke?
Oh, yeah.
Are you the one giving me the visions?
No, man, I can't do anything like that. No, my friends and I we're here to talk to you about your whole situation.
There are other ghosts here?
Oh, they're not ghosts.
I'm going crazy. Sort of like leans back and like lays back on the bed. Said,
Yeah.
this isn't happening. I'm still seeing things.
No, it's definitely happening. Listen, my friends are on their way up here, and I'm gonna let old Queenie talk to you because she's better at this sort of thing than I am. But you were at that club, the Siren, right, the other day,
Yeah?
and then started seeing things, and your chart said convulsions. That sounds pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. I don't normally live here.
All right. Did anything weird happen?
Yeah, I've been having visions.
I mean, all right, attitude. I mean, did something set them off? Did something weird happen while you were out at that club, or what? You have a weird dream, you make a deal with a demon, not too close to a crossroads.
I'm just gonna try to sleep now.
Well, don't do that, because then Queenie's just gonna have to wake you up.
Maybe it'll stop if I try to sleep. I'm so tired.
Okay, you know what? You stay here. I'll be back.
Please don't.
Oh, come on, I ain't that bad.
He sits up again. You're a ghost. You're haunting me.
I'm not haunting you. If you'd answer my damn questions, I'd get out of your hair.
Do you want to try to persuade him?
Maybe.
This sounds. I think we've hit the point where you're not going to get any more information.
Sure.
All right, roll heart.
Seven.
7. All right, on a 7 to 9, they counter your offer, demand payment, a debt, a favor, resources before agreeing to follow through. Sort of sits up again and says, "You're really a ghost.
Yeah.
Like you're really here."
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Prove
I've
it.
been here a long time. Well, not here, but in Dallas.
I assume you've manifested, or have you manifested to be seen at this point? Or are you still invisible
Yeah,
to
I
everyone
would.
else
I
besides
would have.
him?
Well, you said he saw me, so.
He can see you right now, yeah. So I was just curious that you're still heard and felt, but not
seen. Yeah.
but not seen. Okay, just making sure it's still safe. He says, "Prove it."
All right. Let's see. Don't want to break anything. I will. I think Maddox closes her eyes, thinks for a second, and looks up at the fluorescent lights overhead, and starts to make them flicker, all spooky like.
muted.
Yeah, son, you've gone and muted your microphone.
I don't know if that's proving anything. You're just making the hallucinations have gotten a lot more vivid, but fine. I'll tell you what. I'll believe this. You get me out of here, and I'll tell you everything. I don't have insurance, and I can't pay any of this, so I'd rather just get out.
All right, deal.
So what this is he is taking a debt on you and immediately cashing it in to lend a hand to his efforts.
All right. Tell you what. Sit tight. I'll be right back. We'll get you out of those. Maddox is gonna phase back through the door and go by one of the nurses' carts and like snag one of their phones.
Okay. I'll let you do that.
Just figured out how to work the damn one I got. All right. I think Maddox has her teammates' phone numbers memorized. I was gonna say Queenie's, but I think all of them. I think just knows their teammates' phone numbers.
Well, yeah, you used to always have to memorize them back when they
Yeah.
were like the turnstile.
They got used to that.
So.
Figure out. Damn, too many buttons. All right. Is gonna kind of go around the corner and call Queenie.
Go for the queen.
Hey, so I talked to this Fisher. We struck a bit of a deal.
All right, I like those. Keep talking.
Well, he thinks I'm haunting him. I'm just probably gonna let him think that for a little bit.
Seems fair.
But deal is he can't afford the hospital bills, so I'm gonna bust him out, and I'll just bring him down to you.
Do we already want to put him on the run, or can he tell you? I don't know. Does he have a sister?
I don't know, maybe.
Next to kin, auntie, something.
I can find out.
Strong and silent over here can be the lawyer, and we'll just get him out.
If they let you.
Well, if he says yes, there's next of kin right there. Tell him I'm his sister.
All right. If that don't work, I got a backup plan.
Perfect. All right, Fisher. Fisher, is that a first name or a last name?
Last.
Right, what's the first?
Both. I haven't given anyone more than one name.
You said
Fisher
Mr.
E. Fisher.
You said Mr. Fisher earlier, which is why I assumed.
Yeah, his first name is Dave.
Dave Fisher. Cool. All right. Well, I am Angie Fisher, and I'm coming up to see my brother. I'll be there shortly.
All right, if you ain't up here in, I don't know, pulls out a ghost pocket watch. 10 minutes?
Give me 5. Gotta talk my way in first. All right. See you shortly.
All right.
Hoist the boobs up. Moves the sunglasses on top of Red. Oh. I'm bringing the damn dog in. Just, like, cuffs, Tony on the shoulder. You're my lawyer. Got it?
All right.
Let's go. Walks in.
All right. Do you just head straight up to the psych ward, or do you stop at the nurse's station down here? Okay.
Head on up.
I don't think anyone stops you down below because this is the visitors area, and they just assume that you're heading to one of the to one of the visiting rooms, and but you get in the elevator, head up to the third floor, and as soon as you get out, Maddox, are you going back to fill in Fisher on the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell
We'll
him
just assume that.
what Queenie said,
Oh.
and then if that don't work, I gotta back up.
All right. Queenie, as soon as you and Tony start making your way past the nurse's station up here, one of them kind of looks up for a second, does a double take, and says, excuse me, ma'am, you can't be up here. You need to sign in downstairs. We don't have visitors on this
absolutely
floor.
can, and I'm here to get my brother the hell out of here.
You have to sign. We don't have visitors on the third floor.
I am not visiting. I am getting the hell out of here. My name is Angela Fisher, and you are letting my brother out right the fuck now.
All right. Well, we can't do that. That's
You
not how
absolutely can. I see a little card swipey there. You can swipey swipe. You can sign something, and you can get him the fuck out of here. He doesn't have insurance, darling. You're gonna kick him out tomorrow anyway.
Let me get the head nurse. Just one second.
Thank you.
Comes back with a slightly older looking nurse who looks a little bit more composed, and he says, you're here to sign your brother out, you said?
David Fisher, yes. He doesn't have insurance. He doesn't want to be here, and I'm getting him out.
Well, without a court order or a release from his doctor, we can't let him out right now.
And why the hell not?
Well, this is the psych ward. He's committed here.
And if we're able to take him on fully into our custody, then he's off your hands. Besides, the city can't pay for it anyway.
I understand what you're saying, ma'am. That's not our protocol and our procedure here. You can talk to administration; they can explain the situation further, but we just can't. And who are you? Looking back to Tony.
I'm the Fisher's attorney.
Right. So you should be able to explain to her that she can't just come in here and get him out.
Well, about that, we do have the court order is currently processing, and we just figured that we would come here, speed things along, make sure that obviously Mr. Fisher has been having a time of it, and we figured we'd come, offer some comfort, do him some good to see some familiar faces, and get him out so he has less of a headache to deal with than he already does.
All right. Just 1 second. Begins to look through a file. I'm gonna have a Queenie roll to
Lie.
Yeah, I'm
Deceive.
deciding whether this is
Mislead,
distract, or trick, or if this is persuade.
She's lying through her teeth. I really did specifically just want to lie
Yeah,
through her teeth.
let's go.
Mind.
We can go with mislead, distract, or trick.
Cool. That's a 12.
Damn. Okay. Well, I was gonna give Tony the chance to lend a hand, but I don't think you need it on that with a roll of 12. So you get to pick 3 from that list. So the way this is going to work is you're not necessarily convincing them to let you do this on the up and up, but you're trying to create an advantage to be able to get him out right now. So which 3 do you want to pick to be able to do that?
Oh, where are the basic moves?
So the 3 you can pick from are create an opportunity, expose a weakness or flaw, confuse them for some time, avoid further entanglement.
let's say confuse him for some time and avoid further entanglement, and I get one more.
Yeah.
Let's create an advantage.
Great opportunity. Okay.
An opportunity, yeah.
I think those fit. So here's what happens. The head nurse says, "All right, well, the two of you just wait here for a few moments." Looks to the other nurse. Go get the doctor. I'm gonna go talk with administration. Just stay right here, and we'll be right back and try to get this sorted out. Okay? No, just so the two of them leave, leaving the nurse's station effectively abandoned for the time being. And you can see, I assume you can sense or see Maddox kind of off to the side over where Fisher's room is.
You want to work on that plan B of yours? I think it might be time for that.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna let him out.
Okay. So you pull the like Velcro on the straps, and the first physical interaction here, and he moves his arms and says, "Holy shit, you really are a ghost."
Yeah, I done told you.
Stands up, goes over and grabs a bag, has the stuff in it. Should I change, or are we making room for it?
You probably got time to change real quick.
All right. Goes over, like ducks in the bathroom, pulls on his jeans and his shirt, sticks his wallet and keys in his pocket, comes back out. Says, "Oh, all right, lead the way then."
Only one way out. Just debating doing something dumb.
Do it.
I have a move called Wall? What wall? In which I always have an opening to escape a situation.
Okay.
And I get access to the additional option to bring someone with me.
Do you have to roll for that?
Yeah, so I have to roll to escape the situation. But I can bring someone with me.
Okay.
Or have something really bad happen.
Let's try that then and see how it goes.
I'm not very good at this, is the thing. Well, okay.
Can we help out? Like
Potential.
lending a
We'll see what she.
distraction?
Let's see
We have
what
to see-
happens.
Yeah, see what she rolls first,
Okay.
and then
What is it,
because you get to
blood?
decide to do that after. I don't know what
It is,
it is.
yeah, it's blood. I have a +1. Okay. I've rolled an 11. Woo!
Alright.
So I get to pick one, and the one I pick is I can bring someone with me. That extra option. So Maddox, I think, says, now, listen. Don't freak out. I think puts a hand on him and they just kind of phase down through the floor to the first floor and then just out one of the walls onto the street.
Okay, so Tony and Queenie, the two of you can see into the room, and you just watch this kid get off the bed. Maddox goes over, places a hand on his shoulder, and you watch as he kind of goes like slightly translucent for a second as he seems to disincorporate. And the two of them, like they're on an elevator, just go sinking down beneath the floor. Maddox, you pass through a I'm gonna say like on the next floor there's like a middle of like a delivery beneath like as the two of you go phasing down, just like a lot of screaming and chaos in that room, and you go down one more floor and you're in a small like janitor's closet, and then you push out to the streets. You're like in an alleyway between like the emergency room and the main hospital building.
I see that one.
What I'm
Bad.
gonna do, I'm gonna take a small move here. That Queenie and Tony, you notice this, and maybe it picked up because all this happened very quickly. Because he had to disconnect himself from some of the monitors. There's like a beep 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 beep.
Here we
beep,
go.
beep, beep at the nurses station. Okay, the two of you want to try to get out.
Get the fuck out, yeah.
Quickly. I'm gonna have the two of you roll to the keep your cool. Yeah, keep your cool.
What's that one?
That's spirit. When things get
Spirit.
real and you keep your cool, trying to get out
Okay.
undetected.
Boy.
So boy, oh boy, oh boy. Alright.
Plus 0.
Same.
That's an 11. We've been
That's a
rolling
10.
very
Oh my
well
gosh,
tonight.
you guys.
Oh my god, y'all. Well, I want to do more stuff to y'all, but fine. Just keep rolling well and ruin things for me. The two of you make your way down the stairs very quickly and kind of turn very calmly, walking back down towards the visitor station. And just as like you turn the corner, you hear like a bunch of like footsteps coming down the hallway as two security guards then go like past you and then up the stairwell that you just came out of, but you maintain your composure and just go walking out of the hospital just as you're beginning to hear like a like over the intercoms, the like an alert going off that one of the patients is missing. So,
Boy, are they gonna be surprised when that door is still locked and there's no footage of him leaving.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the three of you reconvene like just off, like maybe there's a parking garage out like across the parking lot, and you meet like upside the parking garage where Maddox is with Fisher.
While we're waiting, I'll have manifested so I can be seen and heard.
Okay.
I've done my crimes for the day.
He seems very nervous.
Have you?
Have you? Yeah. Who are you people?
Well, you might say we are those who deal with that which goes bump in the night, which you have unfortunately stumbled your way into. Don't worry, we're here to help. We understand this is confusing, so we're gonna need you to try and work with us as we do our best to help you deal with all this.
I was trying to decide whether I want you to roll heart and try to persuade him again, but
Now, buddy, we had a deal.
you did have a deal, so now I'm like, I don't want to renege on that deal because this was part of the agreement. So I'm not going to do anything yet, but that I will keep that in mind as far as Tony trying to keep him calm. He says,
We don't have to stand in this dank alley. We can go to a bar or something.
all right, fine.
I'm going to my place.
It's basically the same thing.
I mean, I always have whiskey, so.
All right, where's your place?
Give me about 5 seconds. It'll be right here. Goes into her purse, pulls out a little doodad with like a crystal and some weird shit on it, and she just pushes a little red button, and you all just hear a And she just turns to whatever door is nearby. I was like, right in here, darling.
Yeah, there's like a small like we'll say it's like the what's the word? The station where like there's like a little power station or something there, like a metal door where they keep some of the like an equipment room or something for the parking garage, and you just turn to it, put a key in the lock there, turn it, you open up, and what does the interior of your place look like?
Well, it changes depending on what we need it. It's essentially like a liminal space rumor requirement bullshit. It's a fucking TARDIS, yo. So right now it just looks like a lounge. They said bar, so she's gonna make a little like old fashioned bar the way that Maddox likes it from the Double Barrel, like just that old, real sturdy hardwood.
Okay, like a jukebox playing in the corner.
Yeah,
playing some, like,
just super chill. Even like
country
some
music.
stale cigarette smoke in the air for atmosphere. The whole thing.
Okay, but nobody else in here. Just it's empty right now. Okay,
It's empty.
like you step in. He's waiting in the door frame with Tony and Maddox, and
Come on in, darling. Please shut the door, though. Thank you.
Come on, Cassidy.
I've got to still be hallucinating. He steps in. Cassidy comes like running in behind, immediately like jumps
Cassidy
up on like
has
a couch.
a little dog bed. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
well,
there's a dog bed for Cassidy always.
Circles in their dog bed and starts chewing on a rawhide. You begin to like get some drinks from the bar and set the table, and I think just in a complete daze, Fisher walks in and sits down at the table, takes the drink and shoots it.
All right. You're out. You are safe. And you're slightly liquored up. I think that basically equals the best possible way for you to tell us what the fuck happened at that nightclub.
All right. I don't even know where to start.
Why did you go?
I mean, it just opened up like everyone's going. There were some friends from class, and they were all saying they wanted to hit up this new bar called the Siren. It just opened up. They were having a big opening special this month. We didn't want to go like the first couple weeks. Figured it'd be too noisy. Figured still get some of that atmosphere. And anyway, I don't know. Went to the bar, had a couple drinks, went home. Like, not.
Did you talk to anybody? Did you flirt with anybody?
Kind of shifts a little nervously, but says, no, I didn't really talk to anyone.
No one at all.
Did you turn anybody down?
No, that sort of stuff doesn't really happen to me.
How old are you, Fisher?
21. 20.
Knee high to a
I'm 19,
frog over
okay?
here.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Who'd you get your fake from?
Brandon and I made it for me first couple weeks of class.
Is any good?
Apparently.
Thought it was pretty good, yeah.
So when the weird stuff start happening?
A few days after that night, I had this weird dream was the most like real dream I ever had. And I don't know, it was I was on walking across a bridge, and there was this bright light. This car swerved and was coming right at me, and next thing I knew, I was just like waking up, but I wasn't at home anymore. I was like a couple blocks down the road, standing in a park. Thought I was sleepwalking or something. And they started getting worse. Kept having dreams like that. Kept dreaming that I was going to die. I went to see a doctor. They ran tests. Everything was fine. Then yesterday, the day before, I woke up again on the side of the road. There were police there. They thought I was trying to hurt myself. Ambulance showed up. They took me in. I ended up in the hospital.
So you keep having these dreams, but then you wake up somewhere else.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess I keep sleepwalking every time I have one. But they started happening like not just at night, like during the day. I'll black out and wake up and I'll be somewhere else, like losing time or something.
And every dream is you're gonna die, and then you wake up.
Yeah.
How'd he die? You almost got hit by a car. How else?
Different ways. One time I got shot. One time I fell off the scaffolding when I was just like working on a house or something. Another time I was drowning.
You ever have dreams about anybody else?
Sometimes there are other people there. No one I recognize though.
It's always you dying though.
Yeah.
See, that don't really sound like Oracle shit to me.
Unless he's just seeing the way that these people are gonna die.
But what about the visions when it's just him? Do you recognize any of these locations, like that bridge you mentioned for the first one?
Yeah, it's what's the one that's red? It's in San Francisco. The
Golden Gate Bridge?
Golden
yeah,
Gate?
that one. Yeah.
The hell were you doing all the way over there?
I don't know. Never been there in my life.
But you woke up there?
No, I woke up down the street from my apartment. The dream I was there.
What day
When I
was
drowned,
that?
I was at the ocean. Would have been 4 days ago.
Google's looking up like accident, Golden Gate Bridge last week, blah blah.
She does that before Maddox can remember that it's called Google.
Yeah, you Google and you do see on the new in a small like website, news website, a hit and run on in San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge. Someone was hit by a car, died on impact. Police still looking for the suspect.
All right. So,
Oracle shit.
Oracle shit. Death premonitions. That don't explain the... I mean, it explains the blacking out. It explains the losing time. It don't explain the wandering off.
Were you heading west out of your apartment when you had that first dream?
I mean, maybe he's just trying to make his way over there, but I mean, him trying to walk from here to San Francisco is going to take a little while.
Yeah, I
Since
mean,
I don't know which direction the park is from my house
Where's your house?
or my apartment. I guess I wouldn't have a house. And, over off of Elm, just on the edge of downtown near the campus.
Google Maps.
Which way are we going?
I went to the park. It's across the street. It's west-ish.
It's west.
It's west.
It's west.
Maybe like northwest.
now I need to compare latitudes of Dallas and San Francisco.
Ah! Are we getting any warmer, Val? No.
Yeah, I will say people that are oracles, I'll just, so we don't chase this too long, people that suffer visions stuff have weird reactions to them. Like, it wouldn't be unheard of for somebody to sleepwalk during a vision. They can be pretty vivid, especially for people that have not grown up with visions like that.
Well, welcome to the club, Fisher. You got powers.
What do you mean powers?
I mean,
Like a superhero or something?
not exactly. You're seeing how people die, bud.
So people were actually...
Yep.
Fills his drink up again and shoots it again.
It makes you feel any better. People fucking die all the time. Now, if you're smart about it, you can get real good at this. You can start marking this shit down.
Can I make it stop?
There might be some training you can seek out to make it easier to deal with, certainly.
I don't want to see people die for the rest of my life. I can barely sleep.
So here's what we're gonna do. Obviously, you weren't born like that. We're gonna figure out where it came from.
Might be a way to get it to stop once we do.
All right.
In the meantime, we know some people that we can have you meet with. They can teach you about this, offer you some pointers, and should go without saying, but obviously none of what you're seeing is your fault. It's not like you're causing these people to die.
Yeah.
You're just sort of tuning into the right, wrong station.
All right.
Now we got some folks that are gonna keep an eye on you, so you don't go wandering off again.
Kind of shifts for a moment and says, man, there's one other thing. Reaches into his pocket, pulls something out, sets it on the table. What you see is it's like an old gold watch, like a leather band. I wasn't lying when I said that nobody was I didn't talk to anybody at the club, but I might have grabbed this off the bar. It was just sitting there. I didn't think it. I was gonna pawn it for some liquor money, but
Be very, very glad you did not. Remember how we said something might have been causing this? If this thing disappeared, you probably would be stuck with this shit for the rest of your life.
so you
Mix it
think
up.
the watch was giving me the visions then?
Either that or whoever lost it was pissed off and cursed you. It's possible.
Shit.
Val, I don't know if there's any way to do this with any of the moves of the game, but given that my whole thing is helping find artifacts and stuff, is there any way for me to verify whether or not this is a powerful item in and of itself? Because I don't think any of the moves on their own are meant for this.
No. What is your let it out move?
Let me get back to my page for that. I can shatter a magical spell, illusion, or enchantment with a touch, cloak myself in magical armor, strike down all lesser foes, force someone to answer your questions truthfully for a scene.
Okay, so nothing that would help you gain information here.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. I mean, I think it makes sense. Yeah, because I don't think there's a move for this specifically. I'm double checking with any of the. There's a study, a place of power.
Yeah, which I do have something for that actually. I mean, we can't also just say that, like, my master's always like, this is the thing you need to get. These are signs to look out for. Things like that.
Yeah. What if? Here's what I will give you. Then, I'm going to give you what you can gain, what you can ascertain by looking at this. But you may need to go to somebody else for more information.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to adjudicate it. So yeah, I mean, you can identify magical items, artifacts, things like that pretty quickly. You take the watch, and you don't sense any like magic from it right now. But you kind of turn it over, and on the back, very faint, but you can see what looks like a very faded like rune on the back of it. It wouldn't be visible to like a mortal eye or gaze, and even most supernatural beings probably wouldn't be able to see this on first sight, but you like catch the light in the right way, kind of like a holographic like card or something. You catch the light just the right way so it reflects off of it, and you can see something like almost like magically engraved on the back of the watch.
Well, Fisher, I'll tell you this. This is certainly not your run-of-the-mill watch. Someone has done some magic to it. Can't rightly tell what, but I know some people who might be able to figure it out. In any case, probably best that we take this off your hands.
Sure, if that thing's the one if that's what's causing the visions anyway, I don't want anything to do with it. All right. Thank you.
Sure thing, darling.
So, you have Fisher there, and he can hang out here for a while you guys finish your investigation. What do you guys want to do now? Or reconvene and discuss?
So I guess one thought that we don't have to act on immediately, but I was wondering is like, is the brokerage keeping the shadowy person at like a brokerage facility? Are they watching them at the person's house? Because could, save a trip and like take Fisher to, if they're keeping them at the brokerage, take Fisher there, be like, hey, death premonitions, help deal with that when we go speak with the shadow person, or if we
Yeah,
do
maybe it's
separate
not
trips?
at the same building that you're at, but maybe they have like a brokerage, like halfway house almost, for
Mhm.
people who have been exposed or recently exposed to the supernatural, and have like a place to stay while they're trying to figure things out. So that'd be a good place to
Mhm.
take him, and also kill two birds with one stone.
Good to know.
So is that where you all want to go right now?
Yeah, sure, we can TARDIS there. We're already inside. Boop.
All right. You adjust your crystal, and all of you sort of feel like a vibration through the floor, and the whole place kind of like some glasses clink together as it shifts slightly. And then when it settles, Queenie, you open the door again, and a street lamp cascades through the open door, as you all, or you look out, and the door is like it's like a closed like general goods store, like a Dollar Tree or something, and you can see there's like a neighborhood across the street, and down on the corner of this neighborhood is like a 3-story, like old kind of colonial looking home, with like a wraparound balcony around it with some lights out front. Doesn't have any sign or anything outside of it, but that's the brokerage, like halfway house.
All right, Fisher, this is your stop.
Finishes his last drink, sets it down. All right, I'm ready.
Come on.
Okay. 3 of you head across the road to the halfway house. As you head up the steps, sitting on the porch in a rocking chair is a rather kind of like big, like burly looking man with like a big like mountain man beard, currently like rocking in a chair, and Say's whittling on the porch with like a pocket knife, and looks up, gives a smile and a nod towards the 3 of you, and says, "How can I help 3 of you tonight? 4 of you. Sorry, didn't see you back there."
Our friend Fisher here might need a place to stay and some comforting words.
He kind of eyes you over a little bit, especially towards Maddox, clearly a ghost. They seem like hovering a half inch off of the pavement. All right, come on in. He opens the door, leads the 3 of you into the main foyer of the home, and it's nice, like old country decor, lots of wood, a red carpet across the main entrance, and a old grandfather clock set by the stairwell. And turns and looks over the 3 of you, and then looks at Fisher and says, "I'm guessing you're the one that needs help, son." Fisher looks back and forth and says, how do you know? We're the only one here to look scared shitless. I'm Bruno. Good to meet you. Give me a second. Clarice! And shouts back, and you see, walking from around the corner, a very tall, thin woman, very pale features, with short black hair, currently has a glass in hand that looks like she was washing as a towel over her shoulder. She says, "Yeah, we got a newcomer here. You want to show him around a little bit while I talk with our guests?" "Oh, certainly. Come with me, darling." And she gets a smile, in which case you see two very sharply pointed teeth. And she says, "Let's get you something warm to drink." She leads him back towards the kitchen. Bruno turns to the three of you and says, "Y'all with the brokerage, I assume?"
Yes, sir. Heard you might have had another newcomer. Sort of shadowy.
Right. Talking about Donna.
Yep.
She's upstairs. Not really taking company. Why are you looking into her?
Trying to help. Would you mind going up and telling her that we'd like to know what happened so that we can figure out who did this to her?
Right. She's not really leaving her room right now. You're probably going to have to go up and talk to her in person.
All right.
She's a bit, she's a bit spooked by this whole thing.
If I randomly turn into some shadows, I'd probably feel about the same, so that's fair.
Listen, I understand that the three of you have a job to do. I do. I respect the work you do at the brokerage. That's why I'm here. My job is to look out for these people, help them understand what's happening to them. I'll let you go see her and talk with her, if she's okay with that. Just be delicate. Y'all probably been at this for a while. Not all of you probably come from these sorts of circumstances, but I'm sure you can empathize with a transition like this ain't easy.
Believe me, I know. What was that accent? It's because of your vampire NPC earlier.
It's contagious.
It really is.
All right. I'm going to hop upstairs, see if she's up to taking visitors. The three of you wait here for a minute while I talk with her. Clarissa gets you something to drink if you need it.
Thank you kindly.
The wood creaks heavily as he moves up the steps. Is there anything y'all would like to do while you wait?
Just if we didn't do it in the Buckingham, Tony would take the watch and try and show the others the rune, and if they're unable to see it, takes his notebook and just draws the rune in it to show them.
Sure.
I don't know if this in and of itself is magical, or if this is, just someone saying like property of Bob or something, but given my line
That's
of
your
work,
forte, darling. I have no fucking clue about any of that.
yes, well, fortunately I haven't exactly taken a shine to doing the magics all that much myself, but I know some people, might be able to get them to take a look at this, get us some answers.
Sounds great. You gonna call them or what?
Yeah, it's a bit outside their working hours, but I'll see if we can swing by sometime
What's
tonight.
working hours?
some people like to set boundaries between their work and life, but that ain't for us, is it?
What's a boundary, darling?
Tony will excuse himself from the table, go probably back out into the hallway, and make a call.
Okay, this sounds like I hit the streets.
Woo!
It's our first
Which
circle
page is
move.
that on?
That looks on page 12. When you hit the streets to get what you need, name who you're going to and roll with their circle. So, unless it's an established NPC, you can make someone up, and we can decide which circle they're in.
Yeah. I mean, given again, just kind of what Tony does, what he rolls with. I'm assuming it's someone in power. I don't know if it's maybe not one of the actual deities that he obeys themselves, but another one of their functionaries they've hired, or conscripted, however they do it. But
Okay.
Basically the person who handles the intake of artifacts.
Okay. All right. So magical specialist, somebody who's good at identifying this sort of thing. All right. With circle, do you have a name in mind you want to give them?
I was going to say Angelique, but I think that's just too close to the fake name that Queenie gave earlier. And fancy name generators is going to take too long to load up. We'll call them Tara.
Tara. So Tara, power, magical artifact specialist.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go ahead and roll, hit the streets. So you're going to roll with their circle. So you're going to roll power.
I'm just double checking that I don't have any moves for this. Those are other. I've got something for the other circle moves, but not hit the streets.
Okay.
Okay, so roll plus power. And my status doesn't affect the roll at all, right?
No, your status doesn't affect this roll.
Okay. Well, that's a 7.
Okay. 7 to 9 is a mixed success. So you do get to mark power for your advancement, since you made a circle move with them. So with hit the streets, on a 7 to 9, you choose one. Either whoever you're going to is juggling their own problems, or whatever you need is more costly than anticipated.
I think they're juggling their own problems, because even if I am certainly not the only agent that the deities have, so there are probably other people out there doing their business, bringing stuff in. Could be, so she might just be very busy, could be a problematic thing that she has gotten from someone else or something.
Okay. So we'll play out the scene then. She, you call, rings a couple times. She picks up. Just, I think this really isn't a good time right now. Can I give you a call back?
Sure. Yeah, this isn't strictly official business, but hoping you might be able to help me out. Everything okay over there?
Yeah. Just had been a kind of a rough night here. Getting a couple. Just got off a phone call. What is it you need right now, hon?
Well, found a watch with a rune on it, and we found it in the possession of a mortal who has recently started having death premonitions. Trying to figure out if the watch caused it, if it's just whoever owned the watch might have cursed him, something along those lines.
All right. Yeah, I could probably take a look at it for you. All right, listen. Why don't you come by, bring it with you? But could you stop and do me a favor on the way?
Sure.
All right. Uh, my my kid brother, uh, Dale. Well, he's in a bit of a tight spot right now. If you could go pick him up, bring him over here, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that. Where'll I find him? Takes out notebook to take down address or whatever.
He's at our apartment. I'll text you the address. Just swing by there, pick him up, make sure he's good, and bring over to my shop. Okay.
Anything I should know about the type spot he's in, or just should be fine to pick him up from your apartment?
Apparently, he got in kind of bad with the Parkers. I think they might be looking for him.
I'll keep an eye out for them.
All right. Just keep your head on a swivel in case one was nearby, okay?
Always.
All right.
Just gotta make sure I'm clear over here, and then I'll swing by as soon as I'm able.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Anytime.
She hangs up. At the same time as you step in, big footfalls from down the stairs, and Bruno kind of halfway descends, looks at the three of you and says, "All right, she'll see you now. Come on."
Thank you.
Turns, leads you up the stairs, and that's where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Man, oh man.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, y'all. I gotta make a note of that for next time. So
I could pick up your friend's kid brother. You just owe me a favor. Oh wait, you already owe me several favors, don't you, Tony?
Don't imagine he'll go with anyone other than me right now, so I'll be handling this one on my own.
And just so y'all know, the Parkers are a faction, sort of more of like a gang, that are pretty rowdy in the Dallas area.
What circle are they with?
They are wild.
Oh.
So, all right, that's gonna be it. So, end of session. Let's see. At the end of every session, you decide if you've grown closer to a circle you engaged with this session. Increase your score in that circle and decrease your score in a different circle. Tell the MC how your relationships with these communities have changed because of the events of the story, and mark one of the two circles involve those changes. So you get to decide, find two circles, one goes up, another goes down, and then one of those two you get to mark an advancement with. The way that advancements work in this game, I don't think we talked about at the beginning, is once you mark an advancement with each of the circles, you advance, you improve.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Tony got to mark one with power this session.
Yep.
And I ended up marking one with wild for my scheme, although we'll talk offline about schemes because I know how to generate them. I don't know how I complete them. Because it really doesn't say.
Yeah, I think that's just narrative.
Okay.
We gotta decide what your scheme is right now.
Okay. Cool.
So,
but I marked one in wild for that, so because I get to choose and mark one. So
Yeah. So as far as circles that you interacted with, technically people with the brokers are neutral, but they all do engage. It like are still a part of circles, even though they kind of operate in a neutral faction. Um, Alicia Drake is wild. Bruno is knight, as is what did I name his?
Clarice.
Is it Clarice?
Yeah.
Hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice.
And technically, the your new friend Fisher would fall under power now. So I think you've interacted with all the factions except for Mortalis this session.
Okay, so we pick one up, one down, the one that, and we're actually changing like our circle stats numbers with these.
Yeah. This is how your modifier there will shift throughout the game each session.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna say we helped out this fledgling power kid. So I'm gonna up that.
Okay.
Great, my -1 goes to a 0. Hey.
And then you decrease one of the other ones.
I'll decrease my
tandem.
wild because fuck Alicia. That's all.
I didn't mention Alicia's a dragon, just in case I didn't
Dope.
didn't say that.
Yeah, fairly similar to Sid. In addition to helping the new kid, also established another power contact and helping with them. So I'm gonna bump my power up, and I don't think Anthony has as strong feelings about Alicia as Queenie does, but he was certainly miffed at her playing the power games with us.
Okay.
So my power is now a 2 and my wild goes down to 0. And
Okay.
I'm going to mark wild because
Mark
I already
wild.
have power mark.
All right. Maddox?
I'm gonna up power because I spent all that time talking to old Dave. I'm gonna knock Mortalis down. I think
Okay.
Maddox has little to no contact with them, really, except for maybe Cyril. And I think the more ghost-like they get, the more they just don't get it.
Okay.
And I guess now mark power.
Yeah. And technically, you did honor a debt with Fisher, too.
Oh yeah, you did.
So you would also, I should have said something earlier, you would have marked with, well, I guess that would have been power. So if you want to mark the other one, you can mark the other one then with Mortalis.
Sure.
Yeah. I was checking if there's anything else. So the ways that you can mark a circle is you make any circle move, which we saw Tony do. You make any city move, which we didn't do today. Trigger an intimacy move. Nobody did. Cash in or honor a debt. You get to mark the corresponding circle with whoever you're doing that with. Lend a hand or get in the way. Adjust and then when you adjust the circle rating at the end of every session, which we just did, or make a move that tells you to mark a circle, which some of you might have moves that do that.
My schemes.
Yeah, your schemes. Anything else before we get going, y'all? Because that's it for the game. Anyone have anything they'll plug or talk about, or no?
This is fun.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all are liking it. We will be back for this next Thursday, and we will have RJ here. We might not have Savannah here. We'll see how she's feeling. Yeah, we'll get to continue to have another character to add into the mix and see where we get to.
That kind of
Join
made
us
it. That kind of made it sound without context, like you meant we'd see how I was feeling about the game.
Oh no.
I'm having surgery.
Yeah, Savannah's
next
gonna
week.
see how she's feeling with the game. Yeah. So we'll see how she's
I'm having
feeling
some
physically.
surgery next week, so.
Join us tomorrow for Neon Souls at 9:30 Eastern Time. We're going to play more Fate in our sci-fi pirate setting. And the rest of our schedule is below our faces. You can see everything else that we're doing on the channel. We've got lots of streams. We stream 6 days a week. So come hang out for any of those. Click all the buttons, follow us in all the places, join our Discord, all that good stuff. I'm going to stop talking now because it is late. We will see everyone next time. Until then, good game and good night, Internet.